trade the stock market, part 1. What is the stock market? It's where you can buy and sell shares of different companies. In the PSE or the Philippine Stock Exchange, you can buy and sell Philippine companies such as Ayala Land, Jollibee, SM, and many others. When you buy shares in the stock market, you become part owners of the companies, which then allows you to potentially earn money when those companies do well. That's all for now. We'll talk about the different ways you can make money in the stock market in part 2. Learn to trade the stock market, part 2. How do you make money in the stock market? There are 2 main ways. First, buy low and sell high. Let's say you bought 10 shares of Jollibee at 200 pesos per share. Then after a year, the price of Jollibee went up to 300 pesos per share. You can then sell those 10 shares and have 1,000 pesos profit. The second way is by receiving dividends. Let's say after buying the 10 shares of Jollibee, the company decided to give out 2 pesos per share as cash dividend. So that means you'll receive 20 pesos as extra profit. That's all for now. We'll talk about why stock prices go up and down in part 3. Learn to trade the stock market, part 3. Why do stock prices go up and down? What affects the price of a stock? Companies in the stock market are businesses. If the business is doing well, then people would want to invest in them and be part of the company's growth because sooner or later, the stock price will go up. On the other hand, if there's bad news about the company or it's not doing well, sales are low and a lot of its customers are complaining of bad service, then the stock price can go down. Buy stocks of companies that are doing well. Then sell your shares for profit in the future when the stock price goes up. That's all for now. We'll talk about stock dividends in part 4. Learn to trade the stock market, part 4. What are stock dividends? Remember that when you buy shares of a company, you become a part owner of those businesses. The board of directors of the company will sometimes decide to distribute the business income to the shareholders, and that includes you. And what you receive is called dividends. Receiving dividends are not guaranteed because more often than not, the board of directors want to use the income to further grow the company instead of distributing them to the shareholders. There are companies that pay dividends quarterly, some once or twice a year, and some don't pay at all. It's all different for every company. That's all for now. We'll talk about stock trading versus stock investing in part 5. Learn to trade the stock market, part 5. What's the difference between stock trading and stock investing? Stock trading is short-term and you do this if you want quick earnings. Stock trading is active income. Meanwhile, stock investing is long-term and you do this if you want your money to grow through the years. Stock investing is passive income. Both stock trading and stock investing require skills and a good strategy to be successful in it. None is better than the other, and I recommend that you do both. Stock trading for extra income, stock investing for building a retirement fund. That's all for now. We'll talk about stockbrokers in part 6. Learn to trade the stock market, part 6. What is a stockbroker? A stockbroker is your representative to the stock market. If you want to buy or sell shares of a company, then you'll give an order to your stockbroker and they will do the transaction for you. Stockbrokers help facilitate the buying and selling of shares so that it's orderly and efficient. A directory of licensed stockbrokers or trading participants in the Philippines is available on the Philippine Stock Exchange website. To trade the stock market, your first step is to open an account with a stockbroker such as 2TradeAsia.com. That's all for now. We'll talk about blue chip companies in part 7. Learn to trade the stock market, part 7. What are blue chip companies? What is the Philippines Stock Market Index? Blue chip stocks refer to companies with stable and solid track records. They are the industry leaders and the biggest companies in the country. Meanwhile, the Philippine Stock Exchange Composite Index or PSEI is a number that represents the performance of the top 30 companies in the country. which are mostly blue chip stocks. If the value of the index is going up, then you can say that the Philippine economy is doing well, and vice versa. That's all for now. We'll talk about how to choose companies to buy in Part 8. Learn to trade the stock market, Part 8. Which companies are good to buy in the stock market? The answer is to do research, and you can follow the 1D strategy. 1D stands for operations. What are they selling? Are they an efficient company? Net income. Do they earn more than they spend? Expansion. What are their growth plans? And dividends. Will they be declaring dividends? If not, where will they use my investment? Buy a company that has good and positive information on their 1D. That's all for now. We'll talk about the bid-ask table when buying stocks in Part 9. Learn to trade the stock market, Part 9. What is the bid-ask table? How does it work? Think of buying a stock as similar to an auction. There are buyers and there are sellers. The quote will show you the current prices that other investors are willing to trade for the stock. The ask price is the price which sellers of the stock are asking for. The bid price is the price at which buyers are willing to buy the stock. The table also shows the respective volume or number of shares other investors are bidding or asking for that price. If you want to buy a stock, you need to place a bid, and when your bid price matches an ask price, then the transaction happens and you get to buy that stock. That's all for now. We'll talk more about board lots when buying stocks in Part 10. Learn to trade the stock market, Part 10. What is a board lot? The board lot is the minimum number of shares you can buy or sell, which depends on the market price of the stock at the time that you place your order. This is the board lot for the Philippine Stock Exchange. If the price of Ayala Land is 30 pesos per share, then its board lot is 100, which means you can only buy 100, 200, 300 shares, etc. of Ayala Land. If Jollibee is 200 pesos per share, then the board lot is 10. And if you have 30 shares of Jollibee, then you cannot sell 25 shares. It has to be a multiple of 10. So you can sell 10, 20, or all of your 30 shares of Jollibee. That's all for now. We'll talk about watch lists in Part 10. Learn to trade the stock market, Part 11. What is a watch list and why should you build one? There are 270 plus companies in the Philippine stock market, and it would be hard to track them all. Fortunately, you can use your stockbroker's watch list feature to monitor the companies. You can get real-time price movements of your favorite stocks. A good way to start picking companies to add on your watch list is by monitoring the news. You can also go to the market insights in the research tab of your stockbroker. That's all for now. We'll talk about the different sectors in the stock market in Part 12. Learn to trade the stock market, Part 12. What are the different sectors of the Philippine stock market? Why is it important to diversify and buy companies from different sectors? Basically, the major sectors in the PSE are financials, industrial and commercial, holding firms, consumer, property, services, and the mining and oil sector. When creating a long-term stock portfolio, it's recommended that you buy companies from different sectors to diversify your risk, so that when one sector is down, then only a portion of your portfolio will be affected. Diversification is part of smart investing. That's all for now. We'll talk about technical analysis in Part 13. Learn to trade the stock market, Part 13. What is technical analysis? Technical analysis, or TA, is often called the art of the chart. It is a way of analyzing a stock by reviewing its historical price and volume movements. TA assumes three things. 1. Fundamental merits are already factored in the stock price. 2. Prices move in psychological trends. And 3. History repeats itself. Technical analysis uses charts to gauge the future price movement of a stock. That's all for now. We'll talk more about TA and discuss charts in Part 14. Learn to trade the stock market, Part 14.
What is a stock market chart? A stock market chart shows the price movements and volume of transactions of a specific company. For example, this is the monthly chart of Jollibee from 2007 to 2022. The chart shows the ups and downs of the price, the volume of transactions, and indicators such as moving averages and RSI, which we will discuss in the future. The chart also shows the general trend of the price, which can be upwards or uptrends, sideways, and downtrends. That's all for now. We'll talk about stock market support levels in Part 15. Learn to trade the stock market, Part 15. What is a support level? The support level is the price in which investors or traders find the stock to be cheap. So there is a tendency for people to buy at around that price level. You can see it in the chart as the level where the price often reverses direction and bounces up. And in technical analysis, when the price of a stock bounces up a support level, then that's a good sign to buy that stock. That's all for now. We'll talk about stock market resistance levels in Part 16.